next guest is taping her comedy special at the Riot in Houston, Texas, March 29th. Please welcome the very funny Catherine Blanford.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. I love New York. I'm from Kentucky, so this feels exactly like home. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, which is where we have the Kentucky Derby. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's this big event where these like fancy people, they watch these horses run around in circles, and then after every race, you can see some of them like freaking out because they just lost their son's college fund on an animal named Buckle Up Buttercup. But those are the fancy people. They don't let us hillbillies in the stands. They corral us in the infield. And then we watch the horses racing, and we get FOMO. We're like, I want to do that on my moonshine. So we have something called porta potty racing, okay? What that is you find a line of these things, right? And you go up to the first porta potty in the line, and you ask a man to help you up to the very tip top of it. And he always does, because you have a sundress on. And then, okay, he's been there. Okay, so this is the name of the game, okay? You try and run across the top of the porta potties without falling in. It's like the floor is lava, but worse. And if you get pretty far, then there's dudes on the ground that are getting excited because you're now their redneck ninja warrior. They're like, oh, she's really doing it. And they can't help themselves. They'll get so excited, they'll throw full beer bottles at you because that's how their dad showed them they were proud. And then if you dodge all the bottles full of love and you make it to the very end, then you get to get arrested. And yeah. I've been there. I made it. Yeah. So then you get to go to jail and you get to talk to your dad again. So it's a family tradition. No, I did that a lot in my childhood. I'm doing much more mature things now. I live with my boyfriend. That's serious. And I know he believes in me because he makes me pay rent. But I haven't been promoted yet. Sorry, proposed to. Sorry. But my friends are. I've been a bridesmaid 14 times now. I'm going on these bachelorettes. Wait, I'm sorry. I know, it's 2024. You can't say maid anymore. I've been a bridal intern 14 times. Thank you. It is a lot of work. So I was at the beach on one of the employee retreats, and before the conference, okay, so I started to notice the difference between the girls there that are still in their 20s and those of us who dare to be 32. You could detect the younger ones because they were in their bikinis, and they were taking selfies, and their whole body was in the picture. Once you hit 30, that's no longer how your beach pictures go, okay? You know what we do. We line up, right? And then we slowly start backing into the ocean till about right here. I like that one. Yeah, try one more. There we go. I like my bangs in that one. But this trip, first of all, by the way, I would like to say, once you get older, every group picture, you treat it like a loaf of bread, right? You're like, the ends are the worst. So this trip, these girls are on one right now. Okay. This trip started off like every bachelorette. Everyone's very polite in the beginning. They're like, no, I love your bangs. And then the younger girls, with all their energy, they started like wrestling each other on this raft, right? Trying to knock each other off. Till one girl's left, and then that girl got to be the bride. And she challenged me to a duel, I guess because I don't have kids or eyelash extensions. So I had to get on this raft. I just had to square up across from this 20-year-old feral cat, just this scrawny Rachel foaming White Claw at the mouth. I'm a marketing major. And my phone said, do you have a charger? Sorry, I'm a Leo. It was one of those moments we've all had, where you see somebody younger and then you realize how much you've elevated as a person. I looked at her like, I used to be you. Do you remember your 20s when you didn't eat because you were trying to look good for a mate because you needed shelter? But I was like, now I'm good. Now I live with an accountant in the suburbs, and I got an Instapot. So I remember I was like, she's gonna take me. You know, I've been out of the game. But I had to square up, right? And sure enough, they said go. And she lunged at me, but she still slipped off me because she's in her 20s and wears tanning oil. And I'm in my 30s now, so I have SPF 90 and Botox in. So I didn't move a muscle. And I just got her in a headlock and I just whispered, forgive your father. And she slipped on her tears and fell in. I've been Catherine Blanford, thank you so much.
Slipped on her tears, you know. Catherine Blanford! She'll be at the riot in Houston, Texas, March 29th. We'll be right back, everybody. Come on back. Hey, hey.